Okay, and we are live. Hello, hello, beautiful, sensitive souls, and welcome back to Surviving to Thriving, where we address how to move from struggle and just surviving in a world that's just seemingly too big, too fast, too loud, just too much, and getting to a place of calm and actually thriving as highly sensing people. So I'm your host, as always, high sensory coach Tammy Goen, and I'm so glad to be here. Wow, I'm having some word issues today. It's my vision that every highly sensing person will stop hiding and feeling wrong, stop playing small and trying to be different, trying to be less sensitive and not who they are, but come to their amazing skills and honoring who they are as a sensitive, and then be able to be a strong yet gentle force in the world. So thank you so much for being here. And I'm so excited that today we have a special guest. Glenna James is with us today. We're going to talk about yoga and herbs for highly sensing people. And Glenna is, just give a little shout out first, and then we'll bring her on. And she's here now. Thank you so much for being here, Glenna. Glenna is a holistic health practitioner and a fertility and pregnancy coach. And she works with women to help them understand their own cycles and learn about their bodies. And she also holds multiple certifications, including acupressure, which I found fascinating because I don't know anybody else besides myself that even knows what that is, let alone works with it. So that was awesome, as well as feng shui and holistic nutrition and many others. And Glenna holds a master's of science degree in complementary and integrative health. I love that, from National University. And she's also a clinical herbalist. She authored and self-published her book called The Energies of Herbs, which sounds fascinating. And she's passionate about women's health, fertility, herbs, and wellness. And we're going to also talk about yoga. So welcome, Glenna. So glad to have you here. And if you wouldn't mind just sharing with us, how you came to do what you do and how you got interested in this holistic health journey.
Actually, I also will add that I am just finished my 200-hour yoga teacher training and prenatal yoga teacher training, and kid yoga teacher training. And I just finished a pre and postnatal coaching certification. So it's more about coaching women who are pregnant. And I'm still being a doula. I'm going all the way to childbirth education. I'm taking that very slowly because it's an important thing to be a support emotionally and physically for women. But my journey started, like a lot of people, my own health issues from the time I was very little, having iron issues, having acne, just not feeling really good about myself. And that affects you mentally. So when I got married and I had my two kids and a couple miscarriages I was like, what's going on with my own cycle and with my own health? And I kind of put that aside because when I went for my bachelor's degree, I really thought that I was going to go into restaurants because we have a lot of waitresses in my family, a lot of restaurant owners, kind of restaurant owners, but management in my family. And I was like, that's where I'm going to go. But I took entrepreneurship classes and I really learned that health was a really big service that people needed. And having a father who is a registered nurse and just be in the nursing world and just having a stepmother that's a nurse, working with special babies that have traits and stuff, and just then other family members being nurses, I was just like, health was always there, was always a passion, but it was like, oh, it's science. I love science, but kind of like I didn't feel until I did not live up to par with my bachelor's. I wanted to graduate with honors, and I was like, I didn't. So I was like, I'm going to go for a master's. What I want to do is health. I pivoted and went straight to holistic health because I had my general practitioner say, why not see a health coach? Because you were having gluten issues and that's why your iron is messed up. I'm like, huh? Gluten sensitivity without celiac disease? Okay. And he was that type of opening, and having a health coach being like, you don't need to see me after 3 sessions. You're kind of just running with it. You should be a health coach. I'm like, but I wanted the holistic part. So I decided to set myself up in my master's program. I will graduate with honors. I want to prove that your mental health and your emotional health impacted your actual ability to learn. Because you see a lot of kids on the spectrum who have learning disabilities or with anxiety who are just thrown in those classes, and it's just anxiety. They're very cognitively smart. It's just the anxiety. I proved it. I proved it. I graduated with honors. I proved it that your mental health and your body is important. So that was like a big eye opener. And just having all those people around, and then I use my husband as a guinea pig for things as well, you know, with his high blood
I
pressure
mean,
and seeing that.
sure.
And I'm a highly sensitive person. I'm a very empathetic person. So when I feel I'll use a Brene Brown term. I'm a very shame-ridden person, not guilt-ridden person. It goes to my center who I am.
Mm.
And that's just like my husband's cat just passed away. I love her to death. And I feel guilty because it's like I did everything I could, but something inside me is like, no, I didn't, even
Mm.
though I know I did, because I let him down. So I say that in jest to be, I definitely understand. So my own personal journey through everything has brought me to that. And then being 35 years old, getting into 36, being like, wait a minute, I went through all these medical things to get myself better when all it was on my side was estrogen issues.
Mm.
So it's like women and especially within our climate, cultural climate, I'm not going to get into that. We are not being given enough for women. We're getting things taken away. And that's not good. And how another aspect of my personal journey was looking back at my own pregnancies and realizing how I should have listened to my mother. She knew all this. She knew all this stuff about pregnancy. She knew all this stuff about fertility. How I should have listened to her, and wondering why we don't. And just really realizing it's that motto that I keep coming up with that's on my website, ancient wisdom and communal knowledge for new age. It's stuff we know in our bodies we just took away. So
And so
my
that leads me to also want to ask, when did you pull in the yoga piece? Because that would definitely be part of that ancient wisdom, right?
yes, actually I started doing yoga right after my son was born in 2010, but it was very slowly going.
Mhm.
And I just I got out of my head. I got out of my head and stopped saying these poses needed to be this way. I really went into yin yoga and like fertility yoga and was like, this is what my body's doing, which really matching my cycle with yoga. And that happened in the last a year or so. And I was like, you know what? I've done yoga for so long. I want to be a yoga teacher trainer. I want to go through the classes because I'm tired of following yoga teachers online. I love them. I still do that, but I really want to teach women about their cycles. And yoga is so, it got me out of my head. It's mindfulness movement. It's the same as qigong. Like I went through qigong and looked at that and was like, eh. I like yoga. I think it's because there's so many different types, and like with yin yoga, you can really get out of your head, and it really takes you away from it. So it's like a movement meditation and mindfulness, and how that actually took me to a place as a sensitive to have time for myself. So I'm like, I want to teach this to women, especially women who don't have but like 10 minutes. It's 10 minutes.
Right. Yeah, and it is, I mean, one of those just amazing things that, yes, it's good for, stretching, strengthening the physical body, but it is also so good for our nervous systems in terms of, like you mentioned, like that calming, quieting, going within, making that time to just stop the chatter, stop the thinking, the doing, all of that, and be able to focus in and be doing something that's going to benefit you in other ways. So yoga is, I've found it to be an amazing thing as well. And so it definitely can be, helpful for sensitives on many levels. And so you like to use both the yoga piece and then the herbal piece. And obviously, you were just talking about, again, the nervous system and how that's really important for highly sensitive. So can you share a little bit about the herbal piece as well in terms of sensitivity and how you've discovered that the connection there?
Because our nervous system is so important, the sympathetic nervous system, the rest and digest, and even like with yoga, it's the neuroplasticity of being able to train that. But we're getting in our head so much. Since it's getting in our head so much, we feel very, very deeply. It's a physical reaction to a lot of them. We have that physical reaction, especially with me. It will just drop. I can't work. Like if something bad happens, it's like, nah, news will just flat out. We need an adaptogen, which different herbs are an adaptogen. Ashwagandha is an adaptogen. What it does is help your body regulate stress. It adapts to your body and what's going on. So herbs like adaptogen herbs like ashwagandha, holy basil, very, very good for stress and just calming the nervous system down. People think chamomile is just, oh, it's just a soothing stress reliever. It's more than that. It calms the nervous system down. It calms you down. When you, especially with me, I can't take a lot of herbs that like make you fall asleep because, but it's calming. So it's like you have that tea, you sit back, you smell it. It's a calming ritual that you can do every day. But what the herbs are doing on your nervous system is really taking the frazzled ends and just calming it down. It's that sense of tranquility.
Mhm.
So if you could imagine when you were a kid doing something that you really, really loved that just calmed you down, like reading or like say a cake or hot chocolate, whatever you did as a kid that was
Drawing.
really, yes, drawing, art therapy, really calms you down. These are what these herbs do. So if you put them in tandem, like you do yoga in the morning, and then let's say you do some really calming yoga at night and you have some tea, these herbs really help your body adapt to it. Adaptogens are, I know a buzzword, everybody says it, but adaptogens are very important. I take ashwagandha. I take it every other day. If I'm going into a stressful event, or like when I go shopping because I have chemical sensitivity, I know that's going to fray out my nerves, or I know something bad's happening, I will take ashwagandha for a few days before and afterwards so that I can just really get back in my body. And also, that gives you self care, taking time for yourself as a highly sensitive. We don't do that.
Yes, that's always on the list of things to do more because most people would say, oh, yeah, I've done that. I've done that. Do I
Lavender.
consistent? Not really. So it's really important to have those things that are pretty easy, to do. It's like, oh, yeah, if I do yoga and have my tea and sit down and be quiet, that actually helps my nervous system. That actually helps me and builds day by day by day to make things easier. So
You can spray. If you don't like to make tea, you can do aromatherapy. Have that on your yoga mat. Have some lavender. Actually clean your yoga mat with some lavender essential oils. You want to mix in some vinegar and stuff and some water because you just don't want the essential oils on there. But even hydrogels, which are the water based of essential oils,
mhm.
that's very good to spray on your face. And I love traditional medicinals. I have all my different plants all together that's dry, but some people are like, I don't want to make my own. They have a really good thing called stress relief, and it has kave in it. It has ashwagandha in it. It has holy basil in it. Holy basil is also called tuli. So there's many different names, but it also has, people don't think the skull cap, very calming, very calming. And people think these calming things are sleep aids. They are. They're sleep aids. But you can take chamomile at noon. I took it all through this week after my cat passed away. I took chamomile and I gave myself time. That's another thing. We
Mhm.
think self care has to be this elaborate, this, or herbalism has to be this elaborate thing. You could just make a salve and put it on you with the
Mhm.
same herbs. So it's really incorporating herbalism within your daily route, not just, I'm sick, I'm going to just take some herbs. It's
Right.
really,
And so if we have a holy basil or tulsi or whatever, lavender, ashwagandha, what are some others that are specifically good? Chamomile for the calming effect or
um,
soothing?
skull cap is a really, really good one as well.
Like that one.
Um, Ooh, there's a few other ones, but they're really more sedative. But those
Okay.
are the ones I would definitely
Yeah, those are
start
good
with.
ones.
Another good one, a lot of people don't like it, would be lemongrass or
There are people that don't like lemongrass.
yes, but that some people say are more an energizing plant, but really another one is lemon balm.
Mhm.
That plant, even when you smell it, just by itself, dry, will just
And you know
It
what
would
I
just be like,
find too, maybe you can talk to this too and see, I don't know if it's necessarily an adaptogen or not, but frankincense for me is like, even if I just take the cap off and sniff it, I don't even have to put it like on, just smell it. And I immediately, it's kind of like listening to classical music or something. I could just feel my whole system let go. So I don't know if that's in the same category, but I find
I
frankincense
don't I
valuable.
don't know, but maybe it is. But frankincense, if you notice, a lot of these herbs that I'm talking about have a very earth-based scent. They have this very earth-based grounding scent. So if you're in Chinese medicine or you are looking at Ayurvedic herbs, which ashwagandha is an Ayurvedic herb, it is a grounding herb. They look at the earth-based element. So it's like this is
Mhm.
grounding. It's going to ground you and center you. So you're looking at herbs like that. Um, and they're very earthy, so they're astringent based. They don't by themselves. They're like, oh, this kind of. But if you actually taste chamomile by itself, it's actually sweet. And there's two different types of chamomile. You can use either or. They have the same. The one's German, one's Roman. It's the same plant in its chemistry,
Mhm.
and that's a different thing. Certain herbs work with different people. Like if you can't calm down with those, then I'm gonna give you valerian. Because yes, it's a sedative, but then that means you can't quiet your mind enough. That means you can't sleep. So I'm gonna give you valerian, and valerian smells like a dirty sock. You better put some sweetener in that because you're gonna be tasting dirty sock. It's one of the things cats love outside. And there's another one. Uh Catnip. People think catnip's only for cats. Catnip is also a very, very grounding herb. That's why cats fall asleep. They go crazy and go. It's a very grounding herb, and all these herbs can be done at its own pace. So if somebody wanted to go and buy it, I would definitely say let's look at 1 teaspoon of, and this is going to make a big jar, by the way, not 1 cup. We're going to make a big jar. So like a big half quart or a cup like this, a mason jar about that size. So we're going to look at maybe 1 to 2 tablespoons of lavender. If you don't like a
Tablespoons,
lot of, yeah,
teaspoons,
yeah,
tablespoons,
teaspoons.
teaspoon.
If you, it depends on what you like. If you don't like lavender and it gives you a headache, then you want to go with a lesser thing. So then you're going to want to go with 1 tablespoon of catnip. You're going to want to do the same with the I said lavender already.
Lemon balm,
Chamomile.
maybe.
Yes, actually, we're going to go with 2 for that with the lemon balm, and then with the ashwagandha, we're going to add 1.5 because it's very potent. And if you cannot sleep, you're a type of person that I'm going to go with to err on the side of safety. I'm going to go with just put a few pinches of the valerian in there because each person tolerates valerian differently. And if you take it too much, it makes you feel sluggish and like your limbs are falling off. Uh,
What's that?
so we don't want that. So we start low. And if that you find out that doesn't work, you can always decrease one or add more.
And
Like
this,
if all
when you're talking about like teaspoons of things or tablespoons of things, you're talking about, I mean, obviously not essential oils; those would be drops, but in
yes,
like a tea based
yes, yes,
application.
just make your own. If you got the herbs and you're like, oh, I'll buy my own, all those herbs in a dry format. You can make your own and mix it all together, and then all you do is put it in your tea, and then
Yeah.
you have it in a dry little container
Mhm.
and keep it away from sun. But you have it in that little container and put it in your cupboard, and then you take it out and you make yourself some tea. There you
And if
go.
you have valerian in there, you might want to have some honey. Sounds like maybe.
Yes, yes. And if you find out that just a little bit of a pinch of the valerian does not work, you can go to a teaspoon. You can go that. And if you find, oh, that don't work, you can add a teaspoon and a half. I would say don't go to a full tablespoon unless you definitely know you're talking to an herbalist about it because we want to make sure you're safe because it's
Mhm.
one of those herbs that works on the same part of the brain that diazepam works on, and it's non-habit forming. So it's like don't. And if you can't make the tea, you're like I can't make tea. Traditional medicinals makes chamomile lavender tea. They make a tea that's a night tea without and with valerian. And then also, if you know about those herbs and you know how to read them, there's also one from Central Herbs as well that's in the store. It's non-GMO and everything. They have one for like that's a sleep tea, and if you're having some sniffles, you got the herbs that's for your sniffles or for your cough or for that. So there are really good companies out there that even in my book I talk about that are doing that for you, the prep for you. But since I'm an herbalist, will always say make your own, learn about the herbs, because then you can be like, oh, chamomile don't work for me.
And
I need to
I
add
think
lavender.
that's a really good direction anyway. If, as a sensitive, I know certain things I will react to or not. But often it's a matter of dosage. So I've learned that over the years that it's like, oh, it's not just that I can't tolerate that substance, that herb, whatever, but I can't do what the typical dose is. So if I can start at half or sometimes even like a third and then see how I do, and then I say, oh, I can do this. That's just too much for me. So you could do the same thing with a tea. If you're able to do that yourself, you can have just that little pinch of valerian. Whereas if you get something in a tea bag that you can't adjust, you might go, oh, that's not for me, when it actually could have some good benefits for you if you just have a little bit less.
Oh,
So
yes, yes.
a
I
great
agree.
way to make your own, and then you can mix and match too with, I love that piece of, oh, I feel a little bit more like this today, or oh, this is a really good formula, but this is my favorite part of that, so I'm going to put in a little bit more, or this works better for me. So being able to have that flexibility by making it yourself is a great
And
option.
rose is a very good herb you can add. So if you're the type of person that wants floral, you can add rose. Rose is very grounding as well. It's not an uplifting, or people smell roses and like, oh, I'm not. No, it's very grounding.
Mm-hmm.
So even let's put rose in there because I don't like lavender. You can do that. And as an herbalist, I love teaching people about herbs. So when you come to me, I'm just like, herbs will be part of it. If you're a person that's like, I don't want to use herbs, let's use essential oils. Okay, I'm an aromatherapist as well, so let's go there. Let's figure out what works for you.
And how about, so for yoga, what type of yoga or types of yoga do you find would be best for sensitives?
I would not say like hot yoga. I would not say anything that's very strenuous. You can do that if you're energized, but I would say yin yoga because it's so calming. And I would also say if you're a woman, fertility yoga, because certain parts of your cycle you are more energized, and certain parts of your cycle you're not, like your luteal phase. So you want more calming. So yin yoga, there's yin fertility yoga. You can just do that. It's very calming. Um, I think yin don't get a lot of attention because we look at all the other types of yoga, hatha yoga, all that. Even hatha yoga can have very good effects. But if you're doing hatha yoga, then you want to look at restorative yoga. So that's another thing. If you could do a yin and restore yoga, let's say yin yoga at night is really good. And then like in the morning, do restore yoga because you can bring all your blankets in and just cover yourself up and be like, I'm gonna be like a little cocoon today. Because you can. And you don't need all those props. You don't need, if you don't have a yoga block, use a yoga book. Use a book, a really hard book. I don't have a bolster. I use my pillows, so, or a blanket. You can use those things to really take and calm yourself down. And if, like, I don't have a mat, I don't want to roll out the mat, you can do some yoga poses in your bed. You can really do like the butterfly, which we all know about. You can put your feet together and you can bend forward and you can really breathe. I think even the yoga poses where you're just sitting there meditating is very good for you. Slow movements, even like cat cow and let's see, cat, even down dog. You think that's a really strenuous uh pose? It's not. It's very calming as well. And then you got the child's pose. So those poses are
Exactly.
very.
And I was just say, it's good for us to remember that, especially in our culture these days, that if you're going to do something like yoga, it doesn't have to be, this major ordeal that you have to be breathing hard or you have to push yourself to some limit or what, it's like the whole purpose of as we're talking about it for yoga, is to calm ourselves and to center and to be in that personal self-care space instead of all of the stuff out there. So everything that we do doesn't have to be go, go, go and, stretch farther than everybody else and, have all these expectations. So being able to just say, oh, I can do whatever type of yoga works for me and monitor as I go with my body, and maybe learning different poses and just mix them all up if you're going to do your own kind of routine or your own session. You can say, oh, I like these, but not do, definitely probably not like vinyasa where you're just like one after another after another after another, and
But even vinyasa can be slow. You can do vinyasa in a more restorative practice. A yoga teacher I really love and who really got me into yoga was Yoga with Adrian, and she has restorative vinyasa poses. It just takes the time. Even 10 minutes is, and we think yoga is just a physical activity. It's not. It's a, just like qigong and tai chi. It's an actual mindfulness based movement. So it's not go 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 go. They don't. It's not meant to be that way. Those poses came when you are highly energetic. And I know we see all these beautiful people that do these yoga flows perfectly. That's not, even yoga teachers will tell you that took a long time. Sometimes they get injured. So they're like, don't do this. And even a good yoga teacher will tell you, this is advanced. If you don't feel like going there or even getting to that, like I don't do headstands. Will not do them, even support it. Because I had a bad experience with them when I was a kid and doing gymnastics. I'm like, no. So I will not touch that. I will not do certain back bends because I'm like, I'll break my spine. I have that fear. Maybe one day I would be able to do that. But I know where my stopping point at, because to me, what yoga is not about those pretty poses. And I thought it was, but it took a good yoga teacher telling me, find what feels good. And I think that's from Adrian. Find what feels good, do what you do. And she constantly kept doing that and saying it's about what you
own
feel.
body, your own experience, and say,
And
oh,
fertility yoga taught me
this
that
is good for
too.
me. Yeah.
And fertility yoga. And when I got out of my head, 6 months later, I'm like, how am I doing this pose? How am I doing that?
Mhm.
Oh, today I can actually go all the way up to I can do cat cow like that and go all the way down and do it that way, but that don't feel good today. So I'm going to do a little less of a cat cow. I'm going to do it this way and I'm going to move my hips like this. It's the freedom in it. So it is an internal spiritual, I'm going to use that term, spiritual practice. It's not supposed to be physical go. It's not like a HIIT workout, 30 minutes and done. It's time for yourself. And I think yoga needs to come out like that. We need to shift that focus that yoga is that way, that it is not a physical, just a physical thing. It is an actual spiritual, and it connects you. And as a highly sensitive, taking 10 minutes just to do some movements and just to clear your head, do you know when you're doing that, you're changing your neuroplasticity? So if you have PTSD and you're sensitive and you have PTSD like I do, learning to do that retrains your brain so that when a trauma happens to you, you don't redo it. And I think a counselor said the best thing to me ever, and I will always repeat this: you will always go to the worst case scenario, even as a highly sensitive and you've never been traumatized. Your brain, even as a highly sensitive, is going to go to the worst case scenario. If you can stop yourself and breathe, and that's another thing, yoga teaches you to breathe, and you just stop and breathe, you can actually stop yourself from going that way. You can entertain it without judgment. You can entertain it, but imagine if you don't have to internalize it.
Right. And, there are so many things that we could continue talking about, and unfortunately we are out of time, but thank you so much for sharing so well all of the reasons, these factors behind things that are helpful for sensitives, for yoga and the herbal piece. And how can people find you to get more information, connect with you, maybe see about working with you, check out your book, all of that?
I have a website, theholisticglen.com, and you can also find me on Facebook and Instagram at The Holistic Glen by Glenna James. And I do have a women's group that is donation based. And if you cannot pay the donation, you just email me or you just fill out the little form that's the way. Even if you don't donate, you'll be still put on the list. And that is a collection of women who I want to foster that will, just it's a community back to what we used to have.
Awesome. Well, thank you so much for all of your valuable work and for joining me today. And thank you everyone else for joining us again with Surviving to Thriving for sensitive folks, and look forward to seeing you again next time. Please do reach out to Glenna or to myself if you have any questions or want to follow up, and have a fabulous, wonderful day.